Hey everyone, it's July 30th, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share with English-born serial killer Frederick Deeming, known as the Windsor murderer, who killed at least 6 victims and may have been Jack the Ripper. And that is him right up there. Deeming was born in Kent in 1853, and at the age of 16 ran away from home, quickly marrying a woman with whom he had 4 children. They made their way to Australia, where he engaged in a career as a petty criminal, stealing and engaging in fraud schemes to swindle his marks out of money. In the early 1880s, he was convicted of stealing brass pipe fittings from his employer, as well as fraudulent insolvency back when it was a crime to be broke. He returned to England with his family just after he was involved in a Transvaal diamond mine swindle, which is now part of South Africa. He left his family in the Liverpool area on the west coast of England while he pretended to be an Aussie who had moved to town in Hull, which lies on the opposite side of the country. Deeming wooed a local young woman and married her bigamously, but after a brief honeymoon he abandoned his new wife and took all of the expensive gifts they had been given his newlyweds with him. And you think the guys you meet on Hinge are bad. After a 9-month stint in jail for fraud against a jeweler, he went back to the Liverpool area and rented a house where his family stayed with him. He had the floors of the kitchen torn out and redone, but before the concrete was poured, he cut the throats of his children, aged 10, 7, 5, and 18 months, and strangled his wife, burying them beneath the new floor. No one knew the family had been killed for 8 months, during which time Deeming married again and left with his new bride on a steamship back to Australia, on which he annoyed his fellow passengers with made-up tales of adventures he had never experienced and constantly falsely accused others of stealing his possessions. It was now late 1891, and on Christmas Day he killed his new wife and buried her under the hearthstone in one of their bedrooms. He then left, but he had paid a month's rent in advance, delaying anyone entering the premises. In March of 1892, a new prospective tenant was looking at the property, and they complained of a terrible smell. The owner of the property had the hearthstone raised and discovered a rotting corpse. Deeming had already proposed to another woman in Sydney by this point, and had left for Western Australia to take a job. A continent-wide manhunt was underway, and he was quickly tracked down and arrested. At about this time, the bodies of his first wife and children were discovered back in England, and authorities began to connect all his various fake identities and litany of crimes. He was tried for murder in Melbourne and was convicted when the jury rejected his defense that he had contracted syphilis, which caused him to see visions of the ghost of his mother, who was responsible for his behavior. Deeming was hanged on May 19, 1892, bringing an end to his horrible existence. Posthumously, it has been speculated that he could have been Jack the Ripper because he was in Whitechapel at the time of many of the famed murders, but we'll never know for sure. A poem was written about him after his death. On the 21st of May, Frederick Deeming passed away. On the scaffold he did say, "Tarada boom da, tarada boom da. This is a happy day, an East End holiday, the Ripper's gone away." Deeming's death mask is on display in Melbourne if you ever want to see it. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know somebody whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Frederick Deeming I say, happy birthday, you bastard.